My name is Sylvia Reina, and I have lived in Wellswood for 60 years. It was just a perfect place to raise children. It's a beautiful street. It's a beautiful area. I have some wonderful neighbors, and I wouldn't live anywhere else. Well, when we moved there, I think maybe there was 6 houses on our street. That was it, about 6 houses. Shirley Drive, which is directly behind me, was just being developed. So, in other words, my backyard and all the way back on River Shore, behind River Shore, it was nothing but forest. It was a big mess, and it took quite a few years, but it did develop, and there's beautiful houses now back to me and so forth. But when we moved to Wellswood, no, there weren't that many houses, and the houses that were there had been there for quite a few years. Then this developer came in, and I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Kirby. And he started buying blocks of property and then selling it to the people. And what they did was when you bought it, you paid for the lot and the house, and they would build it for you. So you had the lot and the house was one price. And so a lot of people went into that area. So, and they were nice houses in those days, and they still are nice houses. But when we moved Shirley Drive and Cimarron and Sheridan, those were not developed at all. And then at the beginning of River Shore Drive, there were horses. The Myers had like a barn, and they actually had horses in their yard, right in the yard. And the people next door, the Williams, their son had a helicopter, and he would get the helicopter. And it wouldn't park there permanently, but he parked it in the backyard. That's how big those lots are. Park the helicopter in the backyard and go in and do what he had to do, and then get back in the helicopter. My children always say, "Oh, Brucey's here with his helicopter." Years ago, we used to have like a block party, okay, and everyone would bring. We set up tables at the end of the street there, and we all bring a covered dish, and we'd all meet in the street because there was no traffic. We meet in the street, and we have eat, and we talk and meet with one another, and that was fun. That's what's happening with Wellswood. It's staying in the family. Like my mother-in-law's house, she and my father-in-law lived there. All right. Then my father-in-law died, so she moved to an apartment. So her nephew moved in the house. Then he built his house and he left. Then after that, my nephew moved in and he lives there. So in that house, right there, my mother-in-law's house, 3 different people have lived in that family house. There was a hamburger place, and it was where ABC Pizza is now, and it's called Burger Queen. And it was completely open. It had the place where you place your order. Then they had cement tables, and you'd sit there, and the kids would eat and run around. And every day after school, it was like a meeting place, and it was nice because it was sweet. It was airy, so we'd sit there and talk, and the kids would run around. And it was open for quite a few years, and we went there. I mean, it was always full after school. All the kids would go, and we'd go on Saturday to grab hamburgers or whatever. It was Burger Queen was the name of it. There was a little nursery school, Wellswood day school, and my children went to school there, and it was just about 3 or 4 blocks from the house, which made it absolutely comfortable, wonderful, and they were wonderful people. Mrs. Johnson ran it. And then Wellswood, the Little League started for girls. And my youngest daughter is an athlete. She loves sports. So she signed up for the first girls softball team in Wellswood, and my husband became the coach. So that was the first experience with Wellswood Girls League, and we got big crowds. We went to all the games. We had parties, and it was just quite a wonderful, wonderful experience that we all had living in Wellswood. I hope Wellswood basically, as far as Wellswood itself, stays the way it is. I don't want it to be one of these big commercial places that they're building these prefab two-story houses, and you know what I'm talking about. I like the tradition of Wellswood. Everyone's house is basically the same. Of course, some are bigger, some are smaller, but it's everybody's like conservative, how they keep their yard and so forth and so on. I drive down the street sometimes and I see these houses that those two stories and they all look alike. You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen to Wellswood. I want it to stay as it is right now. I mean, getting better, but not looking like everybody else's.